Ladies and gentlemen, we've well and truly entered the vibes era. It's, as people say, more than anything, it's all about the good feel factor at the moment. Do you know what? I actually think we're going to beat Wolves. Looks like the players are buzzing to see a club legend come back, once again as a manager. And I've actually got a good feeling about this game.
All right. Here we go, back again on the other side of the coin.
All right, welcome back to the other side of the coin, ladies and gentlemen. Wolves versus Chelsea match preview. What can we expect? Frank Lampard returns to Chelsea Football Club for the second time. Very, very determined to, right the wrongs that happened in the first stint. And look, it hasn't been a good season. It's been a shambolic season. I think the players will tell you this. All the PR stuff that was happening prior, saying that the vibes in the dressing room are good, and then the communication, and everyone seems to be backing Grandpa. It was all, and I always believed, like, no way that's the case, and that seems to be the case now. A few information coming out from different publications like The Athletic and Matt Law and this, that, the other, that there was concerns from way back in January, especially when we played that match against Spurs, I believe in February, when we ended up losing that so seamlessly, I suppose, 2-0, and then the in-game management was even worse. So look, this upcoming match, Frank Lampard's back. The training sessions look intense again. A lot of people talking very highly about the training sessions. Players seems to be buzzing. As I said, I suppose when you see someone like Frank Lampard in the training areas in Cobham, and one more than anything, you're going to get the buzz. You're going to get the buzz, and I'm sure all of these players, just like us fans, growing up, I suppose, or in our early days in teenage years, or early 20s, whatever the case was, I'm pretty sure some of these players would have seen, Frank Lampard play, and they would have been mesmerized by that. So look, I actually think we're going to move into this game with a lot of confidence. How are we going to set up? I'm going to have a guess. I don't know. I believe Frank Lampard most likely would probably go with the three at the back. This is what he was doing at Everton. And that particular setup seems to be working for us predominantly. I mean, the principles of that setup is something that is very, very common to us with the players that we have. And there were some really, really good pictures of Frank Lampard and the players in the training sessions. He was having a very, very deep conversation, it looks like, with Mudryk, and there was some someone's picked up that a particular word that was uttered there, which was Eden Hazard. So I don't know what sort of information Frank Lampard's giving to Mudryk, but definitely some reference to Eden Hazard was made there. So look, of course, it's not going to be easy away from home to the Molineux Stadium, I believe, the Wolves' home ground. Wolves are not easy. They're definitely not easy to beat. On their given day, they're very, very strong. Earlier on when we played them, I think we might have beaten them. I think that was during the Graham Potter time. I think we might have beaten them maybe 3-1 or something like that. Correct me if I'm wrong. But they always press well. They've got a lot of energy. And they're well structured under Lopetegui, who's come in. They were in tatters. They're still not that great. Their form isn't that great at the moment. Let's have a quick look at their form. First of all, in the table, it is a mighty clash between the 11th team, 39 points, Chelsea, versus the 14th team, Wolves, with 28 points. Even though we've had a shambolic season, look, People are waiting for that magical 40 points. I think we're going to get that in this particular match, but we are far ahead from the remaining group, which starts from 12th Crystal Palace. I mean, we're 9 points ahead of them, and then it's an absolute dogfight till the bottom. Southampton 23 points, and up until Crystal Palace, it's very, very tight. All those teams are all close knit, and look, this is why some people are saying, oh, we're gonna be in the relegation zone. We're gonna get relegated. It's not gonna happen. It's not gonna happen. We are far ahead from the rest of the group. And look, hopefully we get to that 40 points mark. Let's have a quick look at the Wolves form guide in recent times. They've not been that great, to be honest. Nottingham Forest 1-1 away from home, which probably isn't a bad result. At home 4-2, that's probably not a good result at all. Newcastle as well, away from home, losing 2-1. So last 3 games, 2 losses. Then the one before that, Spurs. They beat Spurs at home 1-0. There you go. At home, it's different case. Do you know what I mean? Then they lost to Liverpool 2-0 prior to that. And I think not that long ago, they did beat Liverpool as well at home 3-0. So there are some notable victories at home. 3-0 against Liverpool, 1-0 against Tottenham. So they tend to show up against the bigger teams. I don't know how much we can call ourselves a big team this season, but I'm pretty sure their players will be looking forward to this particular tie. I've always said these type of teams, they treat these games as like an audition. Some of their players will try and play their level best to potentially get a move. And, why not? Why not? So let's see what happens in the match. Let's check out some of the latest news that's been floating around. We're in PYS's page on Twitter. Do follow him, ladies and gentlemen. There'll be a wait before Chelsea can meet Nagelsmann in person. This is what Kovacic had to say. Let's have a look at, let's try and go back. Yeah, there we go. We start from today. Here we go. These are some pictures from training ground. Chelsea have drawn up a list of up to 7 names, which will then be made into a shortlist by Paul Winstanley and Laurence Stewart before finally being interviewed by Todd, Boehly and Behdad Egbhali. Ultimately, Todd, Boehly and Egbhali are the ones who are going to make the decision. Mateo Kovacic on Lampard. We know him. He's our coach. It's good news that he's back. It's good news that he's back to try and change our season, because it's not been good. We need to be honest with ourselves. In the end, it's easier to sack a coach than 30 players, but it's on us as well. We have to do better. We have to say thank you to Potter, who was here and did a good job. But yeah, it's not easy when many changes are here. So it was a tough situation. Look, I always knew Mateo Kovacic didn't fancy Graham Potter too much. I mean, as you can see here, he clearly mentions, in the end, it's easier to sack the coach than 30 players. I mean, I don't think he holds too much remorse that Graham Potter's gone. And look, there was some rumors back in Frank Lampard's first stint as well that Kovacic, Jorginho, and a few of the other, Rudiger, they might have been the ones that kind of went up to the board and forced, I suppose, or recommended the board that they move on from Frank Lampard. There were some rumors that Kovacic was part of that. So let's see how it all works out this time around. It'll be very interesting who Frank Lampard starts in the starting lineup. There will be a wait before Chelsea can meet Julian Nagelsmann in person. Frank Lampard's favourite players from the first spell as Chelsea manager. As you can see, Thiago Silva leads that race. There's a few players that have been injured. Hakim Ziyech, I'm pretty certain Frank Lampard actually fancied Hakim Ziyech, but injuries during that time hampered his playing minutes. Ruben Loftus-Cheek, I think injuries also hampered his time. I'm pretty certain about it. And I think he was on loan as well on Fulham, wasn't he? Kai Havertz, I think he was just getting integrated in. That's why he didn't play often enough. Mateo Kovacic coming in 2,905 minutes. Available minutes, percentage available minutes. Yeah. Thiago Silva, 1,243, but available 76% of the time, I suppose. Mason Mount, look at that, 4,000 minutes game. You best believe Mason Mount's coming back into the team. The attention Frank Lampard got in the stands whilst watching the Liverpool match is said to have played a role in pushing through the decision to bring him back, whilst his relationship with Thiago Silva and Mason Mount is said to have weighed heavily in his favour in time, where calm heads are needed to finish off the season. Fair enough. Frank Lampard in training, he looks good. There's no doubts about that. Friday training, we've got some more really good pictures. There's a funny tweet that's gone around. If you guys don't follow Dubois, Check Dubois' tweet out where, see this notebook that Frank Lampard's carrying? Dubois got Mason Mount's name there with Love Heart. It was quite funny. It was quite hilarious. Check that out. Some more pictures from the training ground. Mendy, look, I won't be surprised if Mendy's straight back into the team. In fact, I'm probably even going to start Mendy. I think he's ready. I think he's available. Mendy's happy. There you go. No wonder he's happy. Frank Lampard absolutely valued him. Frank Lampard's the one that's brought in Mendy. Julian Nagelsmann does not want a new job until the summer. This is coming from The Athletic, Simon Johnson. Maybe this is the reason why we've gone with someone like Frank Lampard for the time being, because maybe ultimately Julian Nagelsmann is the one that we want and he doesn't want the job right now. So few people are like, why doesn't he want it? Look, he just got brutally sacked a couple of weeks ago. So rightly so that he wants to take a bit of break. Do you think you have similarities to Eden Hazard, Raheem? I just think it's the big, Frank Lampard may come into consideration if he excels, but the focus is on until the end of the season. Chelsea will continue to talk to Julian Nagelsmann. Luis Enrique, Mauricio, Pochettino of this world. Todd, Boehly and Behdad, Egbhali are ultimately making the decisions. Paul Winstanley and Laurence Stewart will feed into them. Check out my latest video before this one that I dropped earlier on today, talking about how there could be a potential chance that Frank may become Chelsea manager if he does well. Look, I want Chelsea to do well. I'm not using the remaining parts of this season, even though I think a lot of us feel that it is a write-off. I understand that. What can you expect from, I suppose, Frank Lampard coming back in? We all think he's still a novice, he's still a rookie, which is fine. But at the same time, only a handful of games left, and Frank definitely, he does have that aura. There's no doubt about that. I think that legendary status that he carries as a player. Players may get that initial bounce, and that might be enough to see us through till the end of the season. Only a few games left. And if he does well against Real Madrid and we go through, I think he'll put himself into the mix to be the full-time manager. But that's for another day to discuss. Let's look into the team. This is the team that I feel Frank might go with. I'm thinking he's going to continue with the three at the back. And the three at the back is potentially going to be Badiashile. He's just going to go with the traditional sort of centre-backs, isn't he? He'll go with Koulibaly because Thiago Silva is still injured. And he's going to go with Wesley Fofana. I think he's really going to enjoy Wesley Fofana. Wesley Fofana has been quite immense in recent times. And he's one of the first one that comes into the team sheet immediately. In goalkeeping position, I think it's going to be Mendy. I really think it's going to be Mendy. I think he seems like he's ready to go. And then Frank has never rated Kepa, so I'd be very surprised if he starts Kepa. He's always rated Mendy. Mendy is the goalkeeper that he brought in, so I'm going with Mendy. In the wing position, he'll play Chilwell. That's his player as well. He brought in Chilwell. Reece James, once again, that's his player too, bringing him from the academy, and his days from Wigan. In the middle, I think it's going to be N'Golo Kante, and it's going to be Enzo Fernandez. I truly think that's going to be how it's going to be panned out. I think even though it's a 3-4-3, I really think it's going to be something like this, where someone plays up front, and then there's going to be a second striker or another 10. I suppose you can say 2 10s. It could potentially be like this, I suppose. It could potentially be like 2 10s and then the striker, I suppose, something like that. So I think that might be the formation that we go with, 3-4-2-1. Mason Mount is going to be back. And I hope more than anything, he finds his form back. Truly, truly hope he finds his form back. If Mount doesn't play, then you best believe there is a clear instruction from the hierarchy stating he can't play until his contract is settled. But Frank, more than any player out there, he truly, truly believes in Mason Mount. That is his boy. Mason Mount would be happy. There's a reference that always gets thrown around. Mason Mount, his dad is back, Frank Lampard. So I'll be surprised if Mount doesn't start. I think it's going to be Felix here. And I think up front it's going to be Aubameyang. Well, I'm hoping it's Aubameyang because Frank wanted Aubameyang last time when he was at Chelsea. I don't think he wanted Timo Werner. I think he wanted Aubameyang, and then when the matter was disclosed that it can't happen, he's going to be an Arsenal player still, we then ended up going with someone with Timo Werner. So, look, I personally want Aubameyang back as well. I need some goals. I don't want to keep continuing this thing with Havertz up front, trying to see if he can score some goals. He can't. And then we need to accept that. A lot of people are like me. We need to build up some sort of chemistry for the UCL match that's coming up, because there will be no Aubameyang, there will be no David Dutra Fofana. Look, I can't put all my eggs on that Champions League. I still believe we can pick up some wins, go on a bit of a run in the Premier League, and try and get to at least your Europa League position. We need some level of European football next season, not just for the sake of, players getting more minutes and the manager, whoever it is, whether it's Frank, whether it's a new manager, getting more games would mean you can try more things out. You can embed your, philosophy, your structure, your style of play. But financially as well, Chelsea Football Club financially needs some level of European football. It's as simple as that. We cannot, go an entire season next season without any level of European football. It'll be very, very detrimental to our cause. So for me, in the Premier League, I'd rather go with someone like Aubameyang and give us a good chance to score some goals and win some games. So look, now that Graham Potter's gone, I'm hoping that there shouldn't be any issues, unless once again this is coming straight from the board level, stating that Oba is going to be moved on. So look, I'm going with Oba. It'll be interesting to see exactly what sort of lineup Frank Lampard goes with. If he continues with this situation where Aubameyang has been abolished, then we know that it's purely coming from the board level, and also with Mason Mount as well. If he doesn't start, once again we can best believe that that's probably the same case as well, coming from the board. The information, ladies and gentlemen, this is the lineup. I'm going with Mendy, Buddy Shield, Koulibaly, Fofana, Chilwell, Enzo, Kante, Reece James, Felix, Mount, Aubameyang. Let me know what your thoughts are with the lineup. Who would you change? What would you do? Obviously, we've got a lot of firepower coming from the bench as well, the likes of Sterling, and the likes of Pulisic, so on and so forth. I'm positive. I'm very, very positive in this match that we're going to get a result. I think we might even get like a 1, maybe 2-0 victory. And this is the lineup I'm going with. So, ladies and gentlemen, lots to look out for. It will be an exciting watch-along. Do make sure you're there for the watch-along. I'm still contemplating if I want to do the watch-along for the early game. I believe Man United versus Everton. So do look out. And if that happens, probably do it in my second channel. But yeah, let me know how you are feeling moving into this particular match. Are you confident? And all the different news that's getting floated around. Comment in the comment section below, and smash the like button if you've enjoyed this. If you're here for the first time, subscribe, hit the bell notification to stay in touch with all my content. Till next time, see ya.